Some guys like to just go ahead and drive their earth anchor, their stake first, then dig a hole afterwards. I don't like to do that. For a lot of times if you do that, then you go dig your hole afterwards and you can't get down in there because of a rock. Then you got to go pull that earth anchor all back up again. You can see this is pretty nice country to work with for foxes. It's all sand. It's pretty easy digging for the most part. That's one nice thing about the Adirondacks and places. And in these sand traps, we can dig these holes nice and deep. We make a fox really work to get out into their lure. We've got a Duke 1 3/4 here offset, and I've left this in new condition purposely so it'll show up a little bit better in the set. Ordinarily we dye these and they aren't nice and bright and shiny right out of the box like that. And we're doing that for a reason. I think maybe it'll make it a little bit easier for you to see what we're doing here. And these earth anchors, these are 18 inches. You have no problem with anything ever pulling these, even in this plaster and sand. I'll even hold a coyote, no problem. I never like to anchor right dead under my trap, because, as I told you before, fox, I like to reset these kill patterns, and when you catch a fox, it doesn't mess up their set. So I'll usually put that in there and draw it back out where I figure is the length of the chain, drive my earth anchor. Always make sure you pull up on these to set them. Some guys say, well, fox will pull up and set it. Don't you trust that. Because if you believe that, sooner or later, you're going to get messed up. I like to carry these with me already set, make it a little bit faster if I've been putting in a lot of them in a day. I'll just preset them and run a little wedge of sliver of dirt in there. Got my earth anchor and everything already set. And I haven't got to bother to put it in there. You don't get anything more out of this video. One thing you want to get out of it is bedding your trap. And sand isn't the best thing to bed your trap in, but it'll do, especially in the fall when you got some moisture in the ground. In the sand country, I like to use some kind of a trap pad. These are a piece of old muslin, heavy duty old muslin. But you'll notice how I've got that bedded all the way around that. This is the most important part of dirt trapping, bar none. Bedding that trap. That trap wants to be bedded like it was cast in cement. Trust me on that. When we're trapping red foxes, I prefer to have that down in there a little bit. So we got a little recession. But the red fox has a habit of stepping in the lowest place on your pattern. Not necessarily a gray, but reds always like to step in that little low spot. That's a plus if you're trapping red foxes, but it doesn't really hold true on grays. I kind of like to really pack that sucker like that. Now I got a set that's going to last. I don't care how much it rains on it, snows, sleets, hails, or whatnot. That sucker's going to be working. Going to be working constantly. Now, you can leave that, after you pack it in there, you can leave that a little bit rough. That's a little bit more attractive to the red fox. It really doesn't matter much with a gray. Now, I'm making this more for a red fox. You'll notice how far back I set that pan from the hole. And a red fox doesn't work a set like a gray. A gray you'll come up and you'll work it tight gray and a cat, he'll work right on the edge of your hole. Or a red, he'll come up to it, he'll come in the front ways, he'll kind of tuck his feet back under him, he'll run his neck way out like a mink. He'll run his nose way out here, his feet will be back here. I make about to spread the lip, my hole in the middle of the pan. It's strictly red fox trapping. If I'm trapping where I got a lot of grays, or mixture of reds and grays, I set tight to the hole. My pan will go right here. My actual pan will go tighter to the hole, probably moving up another inch or two, right on the edge of that hole. And here, this area right here, we don't have many grays, so I'm setting more for reds. But that's the only difference that I use in dirt sets between reds and grays. If I'm trapping with this combination, I hug them a little bit tighter. Now you can take your fingers and put some tracks in there, and let's put a little addition to it. And that's about all we got to do with that, except to bait it, lure it. This is fox urine. I use a lot of it. This is my great insurance policy here. I need plenty of it. I got all in a pack basket, me, you, and everybody else. I'm tired of these a little pattern on the dirt sometimes, so we just kind of give a little bit of that kind of take away that spray. Now this urine, I'm going to explain something to you about urine. There's guys will say, well, don't want to use coyote urine because it'll scare away a fox. That's a bunch of bullshit. Don't work that way. You can use fox urine, you can use coyote urine and whatnot. If you feel better about yourself and you're just trapping foxes, well, use fox urine. It really doesn't matter. Any kind of urine will work for you. Coon urine will work for you. Even mink urine. But don't ever, ever, ever use cat urine as a cover scent. Use it on your trap pattern because they'll dig it. It's more of a lure. If you're going to use cat urine, use it in the hole. Don't use it on your trap cover. Always work with a jar small enough where you can control the cap. Put it in your fingers like this. 1 ounce bottle is better yet. Always hold your jar away from the top of your pattern. Don't hold it over your pattern. You don't want a drop of that on your pattern. You get 1 drop of that lure on your pattern, you got it bigger. You're out of business. The lure always goes in the bottom of the hole. You see some guys will use a big stick, they stick it in there and they smear it all around the top. They put a smear on top of the hole. I want I want that animal's nose down in that hole. I want it right up to his eyeballs. I want him to roll his chin on there. I want him to slick it up like a grease ball, like an otter would slick up a slick set. You don't want the lure on top of the hole. It belongs in the bottom. That's the whole idea. Make the animal work the set. Don't get in the habit of using too much lure. Just what I showed you there, stick the size of a pencil, run it down in there a 1/2 inch, put it in your hole. That's all the lure you need. Too much lure, you can tell when you're using too much lure in a set because you get tracks back here and they won't come in to work it. You got a good lure in that hole, he's going to smell it. And a good lure will last you for 2 weeks now, unless you get a real washout rainstorm, then you may have to re-lure. I know what my lure will do, and I know what other good lures will do because I test these lures well before the season. Been testing them for years. I know their limitations. And not only, you have to know the limitations of the lures you work with. Work with 2 lures at a time. If you're double setting, use 1 lure, carry 1 in a 1 ounce jar in this pocket, carry the other one in this pocket. You go into an area, you make the one on the left, gets this lure, the one on the right gets this lure, keeps your head straight. You don't have to keep any damn notebooks. Work with 2 at a time, then you know what you're catching with. You know what lure is working for you. And work with a lure, take it out, test it. Test it on your trap line well before season. Let the animal tell you how good it is. Throw it up on the damn roof of your shed, let it rain, let the sun bake on it, see how long it lasts, keep smelling it every week. That tells you the limitations. You know how long that lure will last in a set, and that's very, very important. Know the limitations of your lure. But that's very, very important. Next to bedding the trap, the most important thing you can do in predator trapping. I don't care if you're trapping foxes, coyotes, or what. Like I say, you got your gloves on, make some little tracks, or you can really make a hell of a set there. Now variations are very important to the Dirthole set. If you're putting in 2 sets here, I'll put another one in over there. Use 2 holes. You don't have to have, there's nothing to say that you gotta use one hole in one of these sets. Need some more dirt, hell, dig it over here. Some guys will take all that surplus dirt, they carry it over their 30 foot and throw it away. Well, why? An animal wouldn't do it. Dig another hole there. Put another one over here. Anything you can do to alter that set. Never make two of them alike. Be an artist. Put another one over here. Anything at all. Make big patterns. Make small patterns. You got that bay hole. You got something messing with it. You plug it with a stone. Now you got a flat set. Don't you think that fox can't smell that lure underneath that rock? Trust me when I tell you, you can. But be an artist. Vary every one of those sets. That's about all we got to say about that. I'm out of here.